que juntamos esta semana para llevar a cabo la Liga Atlética de Calexico. Y la verdad estoy triste por todo lo que está pasando. Nosotros nomás lo que hacemos es trabajar para sacar adelante los niños que no andan en la calle. Yo soy mamá de 3 niñas y yo soy un 100% de paz. Y la verdad, señora, si usted dice que está con nosotros, únanse a llevar a cabo lo que tenemos nosotros. Y yo a ustedes, de concilio, los invito a que, si no se puede dar ese lugar, que nos den nosotros lo que queremos nosotros, un lugar donde podamos hacer lo que nosotros queremos hacer. Señora, 1.700 niños que traerlos en la calle, es mejor unirlos, porque al unir los niños, 1.700 niños, unimos las familias, unimos la comunidad de Calexico, y es la primera vez, créanme, enero hasta esta fecha, que estamos unidos, que es el concilio y es el jefe de policía, y yo en personal les pido un aplauso a ellos y a la comunidad de Calexico, porque tenemos a llevar a cabo es todo lo que yo puedo decir, y esto me nace a mí del corazón. Lo hago porque me nace hacerlo, y pues las personas que están aquí saben quién soy, y lo hago de corazón. Y cuando te hace de corazón, las cosas salen. Gracias.
Because obviously there's pros and there's opposition to it. So what I'd like to ask is that maybe both parties meet with city staff so that city staff can give both parties an outline as to, okay, these are the CFP funds that are being paid by those that bought there. This is what it's going to, exactly. Not what we think. But if it's going to maintenance, it goes to maintenance. If it's going to build something, well, they built out 5 acres. Just the facts of what it is, because the intent is the same. Both parties are saying we want a park, just what the use is of the park. And even those that spoke admitted that this is what they were sold on. And this has ballparks and soccer fields on it already. So if you bought there, that's what you assume was going to be built. But let's just, both sides, sit for the benefit of those kids that are here, that young generation that has no voice, they don't vote, but they're the ones that are affected. And so I would ask both parties if you can publicly confirm that you'll meet with each side. If you'll pick 2-3 members, and sit down and talk about it. That's the direction I think I would give. If my council would go with that, I think that's what we need to do, but beyond starting to get into, more verbal stuff.
I agree with you, Mr. Mayor. I feel that this is a good problem to have. I feel that parks and recreation go hand in hand. It's like tacos and salsa. But I feel that as a city, we're obligated for these two differentiating parties to come to some agreement. I feel that it's important that you get together with Mr. Velez, Ms. Bowman, some of your representatives, Ms. Estrada, Ms. Chavez, Ms. Georgina Ramirez. If you guys get together and see what kind of concept or idea that you can come up with. I know that I did see a rendering of, I believe, what Mr. Velez had provided us that had a lot of athletic fields. But maybe looking at this one and revisiting the one that was being shown right now was something that, also lends itself for the recreation of our youth. So I would venture to say that Mr. Mayor is correct in bringing you people together.
So let's just take that. I'll put that as a motion to give direction to our city manager to meet with both parties to sit down and talk about what they want. Because remember, if you can take a mental picture, you're carrying a little girl. I have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old girl.
We're not against the kids.
I know. If I can't, you can't speak from the. But I think we're all in agreement here. We want something for our youth. So let's sit down, and those that are active in the community, talk about what we want. So that'll be the direction. Give you 2 weeks. Sit down, talk to us, give us some ideas as to how we can build this, because the city can't build it. We don't have the funds. But if we work with you, I think we can get that done. So that would be, I think, the direction, and we'll move on to item 12.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know, we have a list of people that submitted paper on some, I know Mr. Selwood also wants to speak, so why can we...
Mr. Selwood, do you have...
Yeah,
Well, since you filled out a form, go ahead. Further comments, I'd ask that you identify with Mrs. Rocha, who has been selected to be the spokesperson for next meeting.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. First of all, I'd like to notify everybody, I do not have a dog in this fight. I'm merely here to give you some historical background on how this all came about.
Can we perhaps wait until they get to, can we perhaps wait until they meet, give us some ideas? I hate to take this more with some history that may...
Well, I think it's pretty important because a lot of points have been brought up that should be clarified for both sides.
Well,
about 6 or 8 years ago,
let me ask the council, the wishes of the council, because we were moving on to the next item, but would you like to have some historical background on the park?
I would. I would like to hear Mr. Selwood.
Proceed, go ahead. We'll have one and one from each side.
thank you. And Mr. Mayor, I appreciate your comments, but if you don't have a history, you don't have a future. That's a well-known. About 6 or 8 years ago, Councilman Moreno and I, we served on the Planning Commission for 10 years. This project was brought before us about 6 or 8 years ago, and as one of the conditions for approval submitted by the developer, he promised that after 210 homes were built, a 15-acre park would be built and dedicated to the city. I had no idea that you people had a picture of the park, but that is what was promised to the city, and because it hasn't been fulfilled, I think that the city council may have some legal responsibility to go after the builder and see that this park is finished. There's been a lot of conversation about children and their needs, etc. There's also a need in Calexico for quality of life. You people in City Council are always talking about economic development. You're not going to have economic development in Calexico unless you can offer managers and people that are going to be employed by industry quality of life, which includes parks, with shade, with a community center, with asadores and tables, and that is part of what this Calexico needs, and that's what was promised to everyone in Calexico, and that promise has not been fulfilled, and I believe it's up to you. You people have been collecting impact fees for the past 8 or 10 years on several thousand homes there. Where's the money? And if you have spent the money, you better recuperate it and put it into the park, because the park belongs to all the people. Thank you.
Just for a point of clarification, can we have our legal team clarify the comment that was made that it was the city's responsibility to finish out the 15 acres? Can you clarify that point?
It's my understanding that the city has a responsibility to finish out the 10 acres. Now, there's other developers who have not yet developed yet that will owe fees that would go towards developing that 10 acres, but we cannot force developers to come and develop. So if that developer doesn't come online for another 10 years, we're not going to have those additional fees to be paid towards building the park. Some of these things that are brought up right now, I have to take a look into those because I don't have a ton of historical background, but my understanding was that